So look, when I saw that this film was being labeled as the best video game adaptation ever made, I said, no way. But the more and more I looked into this, I actually see why. I see why. So yes, folks, let's jump into my review of the new film, Detention. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Detention, which is going to be available in theaters and video on demand October 8th. So this film Detention, I've never heard of the game, but based on what I was reading about the film, I said it absolutely looks interesting. And I watched the film and I had thoughts. And then I sat back and said, well, maybe I should see what's up with the game. And then I jumped on Twitch, watch a few hours of streaming, and I started to see very eerie similarities to the film, to the point like the actress was so good in like her movements and everything and how the cinematography was in the film, it was just the same in the game. So when you talk about it being an adaptation of the game, it does look very much like it. Mechanically, it moves like it. And even like the jump scares and all that other stuff, I thought it really brought that game to life. So I see why. And then beyond that, it won a ton of awards. 12 Golden Horse Awards, which is from the Taiwan Academy Awards. That's pretty big. And I don't have to look far to know that there's not a lot of other video game movies that has been successful or yet alone good. So we'll go with that. And I think that's a good way to market it, because if you are trying to get people interested, whether in the game or the film, going off the limb with a bold title like that certainly will make people investigate. And that's what happens. And hey, I'm not mad with it. But when you talk about the film itself, I thought that the film did a lot of things right. A lot of things right. Especially creating that atmospheric horror. Really good. I felt like the low light shots with the cinematography was fantastic, really. But the things that kind of threw me off was like at times the pacing, because there was a lot of horror, and it was this whole little drama love story thing going on in there that kind of really overpowered everything, if you ask me. And then there was certain visual aspects with CGI that I felt that was a little bit wonky, that I don't know how and why it will be presented in the fashion it did, until I went back and watched the game. I didn't play the game, but I watched it on Twitch, as I said, and said, oh, so you're staying true to the video game nature by making it look that way. Got it. So it gave me a different level of appreciation for the film on that note. So let's talk about what this film actually is. So it takes place in Taiwan back in 1962. And the country is in full-fledged martial law, which means that there's things you can do, and then there's things you can't do. And if you do those things, you're being executed, tortured, whatever it may be. So, yes. But you have Professor Chang, who's running this underground school, essentially, which is an outlet for folks to be able to learn and whatever it may be from banned content, you know, things that aren't deemed okay by the government here. So yeah, very, very low key. And obviously you must know that must warrants danger. And indeed it does, because he goes missing. One of his students, Fang, who is in love with him, is like, where is he at? So now she goes on a journey looking around in school, trying to figure out where he's at. That brings her into the encounter of ghosts, monsters, and all sorts of different things. Kind of reminds you of Silent Hill a little bit, if I must say, until she can figure out what has happened. So, you know, very simple, but yet the execution of it is done really well. But overall, the film was pretty good. International film with English subtitles. It's a short film, as I like. It's about an hour and some change. I felt overall I was at the edge of my seat, wondering what was next. How would this play out? Wasn't familiar with the story. Could not get a good read on the lead, and ultimately, you know, what was to come and to make of her character. What was her motivation? There was a lot to kind of endure there. And then because of the horror elements and also some human nature elements sort of things in here as well too, it was just a lot of unpredictability for me that I loved. That I really did. So again, for the visuals alone, I thought it was really good. The acting, the performances was good. The plot and being invested into it was really good. For the fandom wanting to go back and look at the game, I thought they executed well on that too. So I think it was just a really good movie. I think that in watching this film, I think that there's going to be a vast amount of people who know the game that goes into this really loving this, and I think there will be people like me who didn't know about the game, who will go in there maybe a little bit curious, maybe a little unsure about some of the decisions that was made in the film, but then if you go back and check the game out, you'll see that it makes sense, and I like that. I really do like that. So, but folks, this is the film Detention. It will be available video on demand and in theaters, which I do suggest go see this in theaters October 8th. Come back in the comments and let me know your thoughts about this, and as always, stay tuned for more movie reviews very soon.